Hello, good evening everyone. Jimit from Collegepond here. The agenda is in front of you. We'll try to also do some sample questions and how do we go through some tricks and techniques along the way. Let's first a quick peek into what the GRE is all about. Many of you might be aware of this in case you have started your studies. Okay, in case not, just bear with me for 2 minutes while I quickly go through this. Your exam starts with essay writing. An issue essay followed with argument essay, 30 minutes each. There are no options, compulsory question. The computer grades you, a human being grades you. If the scores match, that is your score. If the scores do not match, another human being comes in and your score is the average of the two human being scores. Top universities require a 4 out of 6. Please do not take it for granted. You get a 4 out of 6, you should be sorted. Another reason is your exam starts with AWA. If you screw up, you get a bad topic, it can affect the remainder of your sessions. You want to start off on a good note, don't take AWA for granted. Then you have verbal and quant, 2 of each sections, so about 4 sections there. 20 questions, 30 minutes, 35 minutes for quant. Scoring in the range of 130 to 170 per section. So all wrong is 260. 340 means you cracked the exam. The AWA score is not added to the GRE score. You say I got a 312 with a 3 in AWA, 322 with a 4.5 in AWA. You also have an experimental section which is usually quants or verbal. This is for the ETS to test some questions on you as guinea pigs and then decide whether it's worth putting in the actual section or not. In the experimental section, if you get all right or all wrong, it does not matter. It is not graded at all. The thing is, the experimental section can be anywhere. So you can get QV, QQV, VVV, QQ. So 3 verbal, 2 quants, or 3 quants, 2 verbal. Whichever section has 3 sections, that would be your, one of those 3 would be your experimental section. So you assume as if you're doing everything properly and you proceed. No second guessing anything. It's a 4-hour exam. You give your marks, make sure you sit in one place at 4 hours. Let's start with some tips for the GRE exam. There is no negative marking. It's a section-wise adaptive test. Okay, so let's understand these two things. No negative marking means just if you don't know the answer, randomly tick anything. You never know, fluke might get you the right points if it turns out to be correct. The exam is section-wise adaptive. So let's understand what it means. Suppose 3 people ABC give the exam at the same time. They get the same set of questions in section 1 of quants. A gets 5 on 20, B gets 10 on 20, C gets 15 on 20. Now the computer thinks C is a smarter guy. So what will happen is the second quant section of C will be much tougher than the second quant section of A and B. A might get an easier section, B might get a medium section. So the section adapts. You crack the exam, first section, second section becomes more difficult. You screw up, the second section becomes more easy. Keep in mind, for a difficult section, every question could be more than 1 grade. So one question could have a weightage of 1.3 marks. For an easy section, one question could be 0.8 marks, 0.85 marks. So obviously you want a difficult section. Okay, so if you see difficult section in the second section, you should be on the right path. So quant 2 adapts from quant 1, verbal 2 adapts from verbal 1. A calculator is allowed for quants. It will be normal and not scientific. And again, 90% of the questions can be solved without a calculator. Within one section, you can go from question 1, 3, 20, 19, 4, 5. That's completely fine, but you cannot traverse intra-sections. You cannot go from section 1 to section 2 and come back to the same section. The moment you quit a section, you can't come back to it. You will get a 10-minute break after the third section and then 1-minute breaks after the remaining sections. Second, exam from the center is recommended. For 2021, many universities allowed GRE from home, TOEFL from home. Many of them have stopped accepting it. So if you're given the exam from home, I would recommend you to retake the exam from the center. Many universities are not okay with exam from home. And passport is compulsory. For 2021, some of them had said, hey, we will accept Aadhaar card because the passport Kendra services were closed. But now that everything is back to open, passport kind of becomes the by defecto, the default document to carry on the exam day. Let's move on. What are the different types of questions that can come in the exam? Let's start with verbal. So basically 4 types of questions. The first 2 are fill in the blanks and the remaining 2 are basically your reading comprehension. A CR is nothing but a reading comprehension, mini RC, you can say, one small passage and one question. So 50% is fill in the blanks and 50% is reading comprehension. In text completion, you have 1 blanks, 2 blanks and 3 blanks. In sentence equivalence, you only have 1 blank, but you have to choose 2 answers which are synonyms. Synonyms in that context. Okay, and then you have reading comprehension. We'll not focus too much time today on reading comprehension. It's a separate topic on its own. So you need to understand 2 things. If your vocabulary is bad or weak, you want to focus on reading comprehension. If your reading comprehension skills are poor, then you want to focus on your vocabulary. Right? Both of them are 50% of the syllabus. One of them will be your strength, one of them will be your weakness. The time that you save in fill in the blanks will be used for reading comprehension. So when you have 20 questions, 30 minutes, on an average is 1.5 minutes per question. So what happens is the fill in the blanks, you do 10 questions in 10 minutes. And then reading comprehension, you do 10 questions in 20 minutes. That's how you basically play around with your timing. Let's take an example of a sentence equivalence question. Okay, the answer is on the screen, but try not to read it and try to guess it. We have an example with 6 options, out of which you need to choose 2 of them. So I'll give you a minute to go through it and then I will explain it and let's see how your thought process was. Okay, let's see how we would solve this now. Okay, we'll try to do antonyms also over here. Let's first do this. Okay, the more dash the details the artist chooses, the better she is able to depict something. Third over here is paradox, right? Paradox means like a self-contradictory statement. So the 2 statements are self-contradictory. So they are saying that she's able to depict fantastic and otherworldly landscapes. So basically she's able to depict something that's in another world, which is unreal or something that's imaginary or fantastic. So she's able to depict it by choosing dash details. Now, paradox means it's self-contradictory. So we are looking at something that's opposite of fantastic or otherworldly, right? That's your clue word. So basically what they are trying to say is, hey, you choose simple life details. It's a paradox that you choose simple life details, but you are able to depict something that's out of the world. Okay, so we are looking at something like simple life. And if the meanings are known to you, you will end up choosing realistic, that is true to life, and mundane. Now, mundane also means something that happens on a day-to-day basis. Now, there's another meaning to mundane that's called dull. Suppose you do the same thing every day, it becomes dull or monotonous. So, mundane can also be used to mean monotonous. So, it depends on the context that you are using in. So, here it says it's an everyday routine thing, something that's realistic, that's happening in everyday life. So, these 2 are synonyms in this context and hence they are your answers. Now, let me put a googly to you. Suppose the word paradox was not there. Suppose the word paradoxically was not there, then what would have been your answers? Can anyone tell me what would the answers be if the word paradoxically was not there? I need 2 answers. We are doing sentence equivalence, 2 answers which are synonyms, right? So your extravagant is costly, not fitting in. Sublime is excellent, no. Unreal, not real life, fantastic, imaginary would be your right answers, right? So ethereal and fanciful would be your right answers if the word paradoxically was not there. Let's go to the next question. Let's do a text completion. You have to choose 1 out of the 5 answers. The question is in front of you. The artist's career was partly because it was so dash. She died with only a few paintings to her credit while still in her 20s. The clue word over here is the colon, right? When you have a colon, the second part is going to be on the same lines as the first part. She died with only a few paintings while she was in her 20s. That means she died very young. So the first part has to be synonymous to that. The career was remarkable because it was so short. She died early. So, that's why people think, wow, she's great. Even in 20, she had such paintings. Imagine what would have had happened had she continued painting for a longer period of time. So, I'm looking at something that is short, abbreviated is the right answer, right? So, the clue word is partly it was because it was a short career. She died while she was in her 20s. Okay, the word colon means the second part is a continuation of the first part. It's the same context. Keep in mind in the exams, the meanings of the options will not be provided to you. We have provided it to you right now so you can understand in case your vocabulary is still not great and you're still working on it. We have put in the meanings of the words just for your understanding. In the exam, the synonyms will not be given to you. So here the answer is going to be abbreviated or shortened or curtailed. They can use any of the synonyms of the word abbreviated as well. Let's come to quants. What are the different types of questions? You have a quantitative comparison, so we'll be doing that as well. We have a problem solving, about 12 questions. And numeric entry is kind of similar to problem solving, but options are not given to you. So it comes within those 12 questions only. And you have got data interpretation and charts. So it could be a pie graph, bar graph, line graph, or a table. We are not going to focus on data interpretation and charts today. So let's talk about in comparative questions. You have two quantities A and B and you have to choose from four options. In problem solving, you have to choose one out of five, one or more correct, or it could be numeric entry, right? Options are not given to you. And in data interpretation, we will have a set with three or four, maximum four questions per set of diagrams given to you. I usually tell people to do I in the end because it can end up being time consuming. If you get a graph you can't interpret, it can affect the remaining of your section. Okay, let's take up some samples. Here's a question for you. I'll give you a minute to solve it and then maybe I'll try to solve it. So here they will tell you how many to choose, right? So in this case, you have to choose only one option. Okay, so sometimes they might tell you choose one or more answers. So in this case, if the question was which of the following can be an angle, if there were, suppose the answer is, hey, the answer could be less than 90 degrees, then I would choose A, B, C, D. In this case, you have to choose only one option. Okay, let's see how many of you can get this. You can type in the answer once you are able to solve it and we'll take it from there. Now see, there are different ways of doing it. So I'll tell you the way I would approach it. So let's say that maybe I draw a line BD and let's say that BD is 10, for example. The reason I'm making it 10 because it is given to me that AB is 10, AD is 10, and if BD is also 10, it becomes an equilateral triangle where I know that angle BAD is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, now if BD is 10, let's come to the triangle above BCD. BC is 5 and CD is 5. Right? Now, if you know the properties of triangle, sum of two sides of a triangle has to be greater than the third side. So BC plus CD, okay, is 10. Okay, and 10 is greater than BD. That means BD cannot be 10. BD has to be less than 10. So if BD has to be less than 10, the angle A is going to be less than 60 degrees. If BD is 10, A is 60 degrees. If BD is less than 10, then A will be less than 60 degrees. That is the only option available to us is option A, 45. Hence the answer is 45. So this would be the fastest way of solving this problem. Let's take another example. I'll give you all a minute to solve this and then maybe we can take it from there. Okay, let's see how I would solve this. See, they have given x is not equal to 0, but that is irrelevant. Okay, if you put x as 0, you will get quantity A is 0 plus 2 is 2, B is 0 minus 2, mod of minus 2 is 2, they are equal. So how do we solve it? Let us take x as 1. Left hand side is 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. Right hand side is mod of minus 1, which is equal to 1. So if I take x as 1, quantity A is 3, quantity B is 1, A is greater than B, I will eliminate options B and C. B and C are eliminated just by plugging in a simple value. So if you use your common sense, you have eliminated two answers, and even if you make randomly tick anything now, the probability of a fluke being correct is 50%, which is quite high. Let's try plugging in a negative number now. What if x is minus 1? If x is minus 1, left hand side is mod of minus 1 plus mod of minus 2, that is 1 plus 2, that is equal to 3. Right hand side is mod of minus 1 minus 2, okay, which is mod of minus 3, which is equal to 3. So both the quantities are equal, right? So if both the quantities are equal, I will eliminate option A. Initially, by taking x as positive, I had eliminated B and C. By putting x as negative, I am eliminating option A. The only option that is not eliminated is D for donkey, hence my answer is D, right? See, I told you in GRE, sometimes, you don't solve equations. Sometimes you just plug in value. The process of elimination is the best way of solving answers. Okay. And I did both these questions without using the calculator, right? I mean, like I said, 90% of the questions will not need a calculator at all. Okay. It's just thinking on the feet and plugging in the right values and going by the process of elimination method. So answer is D for donkey in this case. Let's look at some last minute hacks. Okay. First, what mock exams do you give? Right now, you might give Princeton, Kaplan, Barron's, Manhattan. There are too many exams out there. Some are very easy, some are very difficult. In fact, the Collegepond exams are also more difficult than the actual exams. We keep them difficult because we want our students to be ready for a bad day. The ETS Power Prep 1 and Power Prep 2 are an actual indication of where you will stand. So your actual scores would be the average of maybe your Power Prep 1 and 2 scores, unless you have an amazingly good day or an amazingly bad day. There could be exceptions, but otherwise your score will be an average of Power Prep 1 and 2. Put realistic goals. Hey, I want to get a 340. When you give a mock exam and you are at 300, you will not get 340. Okay. So please put realistic goals, because what happens is you aim too high or you aim too low, then you will feel demotivated. You will think, yeah, I can do. The wrong expectations can lead to disastrous results. Okay, if you're going into an engineering, finance, analytics field, yes, the GRE requirement and the quant requirements are high. You are going in journalism, maybe the verbal requirement is high. You're going in pharmacy, design, architecture, physiotherapy, the GRE is not that important as compared to other fields, right? So just because an engineer is getting 320 doesn't mean architect should also be targeting a 320. You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. There are times when I see a problem on probability and permutation combination, and I know, hey, this is my weakness. Let's move on, solve the next question, and I'll come back to it. Right? So you need to play to your strengths and let the difficult questions stay on, and you can always come back to it later on. There are no negative markings, so make a guess. We spoke about that already. Now, when you give mock exams, right, it's important that you analyze your mistakes and don't repeat them. So, for every 4-hour exam, 2 hours of analysis is compulsory, right? I don't want you to, hey, okay, I may realize my mistake, move on, repeat the exam, or different kind of question comes and you repeat the same type of mistake. That's not going to help you. So, analysis is equally important as solving. Use the process of elimination. I need you to give minimum 5, 6 full length exams, and please all of them in one go. You need to sit in one place for 4 hours. Please don't give your mocks without essay writing. Okay, I just give two quants, two verbal in 2 hours, and you are done. The actual exam is a 4 hour exam. Vocabulary building is something that needs to happen 30 minutes a day, every day from today till your exam day. There is no such thing as syllabus, but keep on practicing and use those words in your daily life. And similarly, for math, you need to make sure you know all the formulas that you come across. Do the easy questions first, then come to the difficult questions. We spoke about it. Okay, and please take the break. The 10-minute break is important. Use the washroom, have a glass of water. It's a 4 hour exam. You want to stretch yourself. Just a 2-minute break to clear your thoughts is also good enough. Have a sip of water, come back and start. These are important things. How do you improve your vocabulary is a question that has come in. Focus on etymology. There's a book called Word Power Made Easy that will help you in case your exam is more than 3-4 months away. If your exam is less than 2 months away, then it's difficult. Just focus on the 333 high frequency words by Barron's. That would be the shortcut in case your exam is in less than 1 month's time. Okay. What are the topics that you need to focus on? Maybe I'll give you a minute to go through this slide. This is the topics. You try to cover all the topics, out there. Some of them are more important, some of them are not important, as we go through the nitty gritties. Like, for example, Venn diagram, right? You may be 1 out of 40 questions, so maybe not that important. Okay. But see, keep in mind one thing. We have had students who said we got 7 questions on triangles, and we had students who told us we got no questions on triangles. There are over 108 topics and only 40 questions. And out of those 40 questions, 6 questions are just data interpretation and charts. So 107 topics and 34 questions, right? So there is definitely some topics that are not gonna come. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Okay, this is just the main ones. Okay, there are other topics also which I'm not going into, but these are the main ones. Let's talk of a 30-day study plan. Starting with the first week, so I'm just going to give you one minute to go through these slides, and then I'll move on to the next slides. When I talk of the topic test, right, so we also have topic wise exams. Here, practice only triangles, 20 questions, 30 minutes. Practice reading comprehension, 20 questions, 30 minutes. Right? So we have topic wise exams for whatever topic we have. Maybe you can practice that in parallel. So maybe you're giving yourself 4-5 hours a day, 2 hours to verbal, 2 hours to quants, maybe 30 minutes to essay writing, and 30 minutes to vocabulary. That's how I would make it a 5 hour day. Let's go to week 2. We recommend the ETS book because the exam type of questions that you get are on the same type as ETS because they are the ones having the exam. So how the questions are framed, what type of questions come, hence we recommend the ETS books. Okay, going on to the third week. Okay, now when you are looking at a 1 month plan, we are assuming that you started studying way in advance and you're not starting from day zero. Right, then this goes for a toss. You either attended all the lectures or coaching classes, or you read up on books, you started practicing, you given 1-2 mocks to know where you stand. Okay, and then you make up a last 30-day plan, right? And the last week plan, basically we need you to give the power prep 1 and 2 in this week, because like I said, the actual exam scores are on same lines. So you give power prep 1 4-hour exam. Next day you analyze, spend 2 hours analyzing it, have someone check your essays for power prep 1. Similarly, power prep 2, have someone review it. Okay, so basically analysis is as important as giving the exams. Okay, so your last week maybe you give, and again, like we said, we want you to give more exams, maybe 6 to 8 mock exams. So during your week 1 to 3 also, you can continue to give, maybe over the weekends you give 1 to mock exams, right? So if you join coaching classes, the coaching classes, let's say at College Point, we provide 5 exams. So you could do that. If you join some other coaching classes, they'll give you those exams. Or you could purchase any of these books, Kaplan, Manhattan, etc., and you will get Princeton, you will get mock exams. At the end of the day, okay, this is all about practice. This is not for beginners. This is a 30-day plan, assuming that you have understood what topics are there and you read about it. Usually, if you are a beginner, you need minimum 2 to 3 months, where the first month will go in reading through all the topics, understanding what topics are there. This is all about practice. The last 1 month is giving mock exams and practicing and topic-wise exams. Okay. As a background, we have had people who got a lot of students in 330s plus, maybe one guy with a 340. Okay. A quick 2 minute on our GRE coaching services. We give a lot of full length exams. A lot of people were asking of topic wise test. We do have a lot of topic wise test as well. Okay. We have essay writing, checking, and also, we'll help you out. We have an app, we have small batches. All our lectures are live lectures with the recording also in parallel in case you want to refer to them. In case you want, you can also attend a class as a demo class. Okay. And then if you think it's beneficial, you can always enroll with us. We also have individual lectures. Okay. I want to only do essay writing with us. I only want to do test series with us. Right. We have all, you can customize any kind of package that you want. So we have offline packages and we have online packages. Offline packages is right now only in Mumbai. In case you want to know more about it, feel free to, or drop an email to us or walk into our branch. If you are on the Converge app, we continuously keep on doing all these events. So for example, we did this GRE event. Next week, we have an event on how to choose the right country for you. Then we have an on-spot event for people applying to Canada for the January intake. Some Canadian colleges and universities are going to be with us. You can talk to the admission committee one-on-one directly. Okay, so we have 2 events lined up in the end of May. And every week the app is updated with the list of events coming in. So please download the app and you can be a part of all such events. In case you want to set up a one-on-one with us or our counselors, we have put in the link in the chat box to set up a one-on-one counseling session with us. And we have also put the link to the app also in the chat box. Okay. Before I open it up to question answer, I again thank you for your time. In case you want to move on, great. You can. We help thousands of students every year, and it would be great if we can get a part to be a part of your journey as well. Let's move on to question and answer, which are good topic-wise exams. So you have it on ETS. I think Princeton 1014 GRE questions also has topic-wise exams, and Collegepond also has computer-based or adaptive topic-wise exams. Is there a master formula book for quants? No, unfortunately, there is not. But as you start solving, you will be able to, make your own formula sheet. How many months are needed for a good GRE preparation? I would say about 3 months. First month to test waters and get yourself used to the type of topics, questions, brush up on your math skills, vocabulary skills. Okay. So about what I've seen is people spend about 120 to 200 hours to crack the exam, depending on your caliber. Right? It varies from student to student and how strong you are. So 120 to 200 hours would be a good time frame to crack the exam. Correct approach to solve quants. Now, this is something that's a very open-ended question. Okay. A lot of people also ask us when to give the exam, what topics do I study more. Now, this is something where what we say is, why don't you give a few mock exams? Tell us your scores, tell us where you are going wrong. So once we know what areas you are weak in and what areas you are strong in, then we can have a better systematic plan for you to approach and crack the exam. Right? There is no right answer. Hey, how do I crack this section? There's no right answer to it. We would want you to give 2-3 exams and see all my data interpretation questions are going wrong. Then we decide, hey, should we focus on that, study more of it, or hey, you know what, let's put it at the back burner. Let us focus on your strengths, No matter how much you are doing, these questions are going wrong. Maybe that is not your forte. So we will put it on the back burner and we'll focus on topics that are your strength, right? So that is one strategy. The other strategy is, let's practice more questions of data interpretation to see whether you can solve them and improve in them or not. So there is no one strategy that fits all. We need to see where you stand with respect to the overall work, how much time do you have in your hand, and then the faculty will sit down with you and help you make a plan of approach on how to solve the quant questions. Or it could be verbal questions as well. For psychology, how much score is necessary? I would say that 310 would be an excellent score, but anything about 300, you should be fine. When should I plan the exam for fall 23? I would recommend get the GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, get all the exams done by July and latest. So August, September, you can focus on your counseling part and apply by October start. Offline college exams has broken the flow of GRE prep. What can be done to get into it again? Yes, this is again something I cannot generalize. We need to understand what mocks, how much have you completed? What are your mock scores? How many hours a day can you give us? Right? So, depending on that, we'll be in a better position to work with you. We recommend you to talk to our faculty members and they will help you make a roadmap. Is GRE recommended for MBA? For MBA, we always recommend the GMAT exam along with 3 years of work experience. Some colleges will, I would say 80 to 90% colleges will accept the GRE, but there could be some which only want the GMAT. So if you're sure of MBA, then we recommend the GMAT exam. What score is needed for business analytics? Obviously, the more the better. You get a 320 plus with 4 plus in AWA, you should be able to target the top universities. What is the score required for marketing science? So I would say that for the cream colleges, 310 plus is good enough. If again, it depends in UK. If you are targeting LSE, LBS, HEC Paris, maybe then you want a Northwestern in USA, Columbia in USA, maybe you want to be 315, 320 plus. Can I give GRE for Masters in Management? Yes, you can.